Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. I am Adrena Fanor, and today is Tech Tuesday. So today we're going to talk about brand guidelines for your small business. Now, although that is not tech, it is very important to have those things in place for your small business so that you can move forward and have brand recognition and things like that. So before we get into it, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to bring you more videos around tech, small business tips, lifestyle topics like style, and even gardening, which is my personal favorite thing to do. So it's a little bit of a variety on this channel. All right, so let's get into it. Brand guidelines. Now, what are brand guidelines? If you've ever seen, there's a long sheet of things that each small business have, and it has maybe the color palette of the small business, the type of fonts that small business use, the logo, how to go about using those fonts and colors and things like that when they are doing things like graphic design or marketing and things like that. So brand guidelines are just basically a set of guidelines that the small business has put into place for the graphic designer, whoever it may be, to use for brand recognition for the most part, okay? So when you think about somebody like Starbucks and you think about their logo, their colors, green and white, and they have the logo of the lady that kind of looks like Lady Liberty. So that is like part of the brand guidelines. They have a specific font for their logo. They have a specific font for whenever they maybe put something on the website. Their heading is one font, the paragraph is one font, and everything is set. No matter where you see their brand, it is a set of guidelines and fonts and colors that they follow in order for you to know that, hey, that's Starbucks, you know what I'm saying? So that is basically what brand guidelines are. Now let's talk about why every small business needs brand guidelines. One, you want to set the tone of professionalism. So when you have a potential customer coming to your brand or a potential client coming to your business, you want to set the tone of, we are a professional, established business. You cannot, that is probably the most important thing that you can do, is to make sure that people know that, hey, we are professional. And by doing that, having like those certain color palettes when, you know, on your social media and on your website and things like that, people know that, hey, they have really put in the time to, you know, establish an identity, to have a logo, to have those colors, to have those fonts, you know, to have like a certain way that they structure their social media posts and IG stories and things like that. It may not seem like a big deal, but it will go a really long way, and it will, you know, establish just more confidence in the client or the customer into trusting your brand. So another reason why you should have brand guidelines is to establish brand recognition. Now, I was talking about that when I used the example of Starbucks. When we see the little lady and the little lady in their logo in green and white, and, you know, certain fonts, even when we see brands like Nike and we see that check, and when we see maybe like lesser known brands like MailChimp, you know, the logo of the monkey, all of those brands have a certain colors and like fonts where when we see it, immediately we know what it is, right? So when we see Starbucks logo, we know that it's Starbucks, right? So once you like put your brand guidelines out there and use it over and over and over and over again, it gets into the mind of your potential client and customer, and even your current ones, that, hey, this is what this brand is using. This is what this brand is focusing on. And every time I see this logo, every time I see these colors associated with this logo, these fonts associated with the brand, I know it's this brand, even if I don't even see the name of the brand. So brand guidelines are very great for establishing brand recognition. The last reason why brand guidelines are very important for a small business to have is to establish some type of consistency. The way to build community around your brand is to have some type of consistency, and believe it or not, that has a lot to do with how you present the brand to your audience, right? So if you're consistent in the way that you post, if you're consistent in the way that you use those guidelines, for example, if you always use one of your fonts specifically for Instagram posts, maybe you just want to write a quote for motivation, Monday motivation, and you always use that font, you always use those colors for that certain post. It is showing your customer that you have some type of consistency with the brand, that hey, every Monday I'm going to look out for this brand for my Monday motivation. And that sounds cheesy, but you will be surprised at how many people are, invested into like certain brands, especially if you show a more humane side to your brand. People are going to be invested in that, and they're going to follow you, and they're going to expect certain things on Monday. I know for myself, like there are certain YouTube channels that I follow, and when they don't post, on the Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever it is that they say they're going to post, I'm like, oh, what happened to them, So you'll be very, very surprised at how many people will follow you and will expect that type of consistency from you in terms of appearance, as well as how often you post, right? So yeah, it is very important for small businesses to have brand guidelines. I know it's something that maybe when you're starting out, you don't really think about it, but it is something that you should absolutely sit down, think about, what colors do I want? Like there is a whole class and whole philosophy around color and psychology and what every color means from a psychological perspective. Those are things that you can research, and so actually take the time to like look into those things and kind of like delve into it a little more. And what do you want your brand to say? Like if you're kind of like a happy-go-lucky brand, maybe for example you own a daycare, you may want colors that are more bright and fonts that are more non-traditional and kind of squiggly and creative and decorative and things like that. So all of those things, it really makes a difference about how your brand is presented to your target audience. Okay, so I just wanted to do this very quick video about why small businesses need brand guidelines, why you should invest in it, and I will be bringing you more videos about small business tips from a web designer's perspective. And yeah, so that's it for this video. Why do you need brand guidelines for your small business? Again, hit subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll be bringing them to you every week. I'm Adrena Fenora. Until next time, take care of yourself.